And what was the highest rank you ever achieved?
I was not only in the Vietnam War, but I was also in the Cuban crisis. And my highest rank that I attained was E5 Sergeant. I went up the ranks and never went down.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way it's supposed to be done.
And were you drafted or did you enlist?
No, I enlisted. I graduated high school, so I went in on a 3-year program. And when I was in, my time was almost up. I extended for 4 years to go to Japan. I always wanted to go to Japan. That was my opportunity, so I took it. And then we got cut back to a 1-year tour because of Vietnam build up, and I ended up another year back in the States, a year in Vietnam, a few months in the hospital, and now I'm a civilian.
Very good. That was quick. Where were you living at the time you went in? You were still living at home? At the time?
42 Bridge Street, Collinsville, Connecticut.
There you go. And did you pick what branch of the service, or did they pick you?
No, my whole high school shop class, we had Nick Soloway as a teacher. He was a Marine in World War II. Didn't want anybody to go in the Marine Corps. We always didn't like him, so just for spite, I think half of us went in the Marine Corps.
That answers why did you join, or was there also a patriotic reason?
Well, a lot of my buddies all went in. They said, if I can do it, you can do it. I said, all right, I'll be dumb enough to do it too, so we did. I went in, got through boot camp, and got out, and I was a mechanic. And then once you attain a specialty MOS, you don't get no details.
Well, go back to boot camp. Where did you have boot camp?
Paris Island.
And was it as bad as everybody says it is?
I'd like to answer that positively, but I know I shouldn't.
We've had
Some of it, the physical training, if you were in physical shape when you went in, like I was, no problem at all. In fact, I went in at 175 pounds. My drill instructor said, because I didn't meet their height, weight, age criteria, he was going to put me in Fat Man's platoon. Well, we went through the first strength test and I excelled. I come out way above what was expected. He looked at me and says, you're not fat, we're going to give you a chance. So I come out of boot camp 200 pounds, 25 pounds heavier than I went in. He looked at me and just shook his head. He said, it's all muscle. I said, yeah, I know, and I carry, down in the lower part, not in the upstairs part. Down there, but boot camp, basically, is for mental training. Because they got to take you out of 18 years of civilian life, slap 3 months of military out of you, and then make you a soldier. And that's why, you got hollered at a few times. You didn't get too many hours sleep some nights, and, you didn't know you could run 10 miles at one time, stuff like that.
Yes, we've had some descriptions of drill instructors that would make your hair stand on end.
Oh yeah, and the best part, I think, of me with my drill instructors is 2.5 years later, I'm in Camp Lejeune, I'm a mechanic, so we got dirt and grease all over our clothes. I get a call, hey Joe, they want to see you up in the office. I don't know what the hell did I do, I go drag him up there, dirty t-shirt on. Who's standing in the door with my senior drill instructor? Hey Joe, how are you? He shakes my hand. We were good friends after that. He never bothered me in boot camp really because I could pass all the tests. But when he and I met that day, that was a good heartwarming experience. That was good.
That you're one of the few that feels that way. That's good. So after Camp Lejeune, where did you go?
Well, everybody goes to what's called Camp Geiger for infantry training. It's advanced boot camp training. It's not as hard mentally. Probably a little harder physically because you're really getting put through wartime paces. And then once you come out of, it's called ITR, Infantry Training Regiment. I picked up PFC. I got promoted out of technically boot camp. So when I went to my first outfit, I already had 1 stripe on my arm, which made you, there was 80 of you, and only 8 get promoted. So I was in the top 10%. And when I went into my organization, they said, well, you're PFC, you can't be too bad of a dirtbag. So right away, the first thing they said, they look at your record, and they see that I haven't been to Goodwin Tech, automotive mechanics, and we're going to send you to school. Here they are trying to put more education in me, and that's when I went to the AOMC. And I come out first in my class. So once you come out first in your class, then they carry you along, and I just kept right on going.
That's terrific. Then you went to Japan, I understand.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Japan when I was a little kid, so opportunity knocked for transfer, and I extended. I went to Japan, Iwakuni, Japan, the southern end of Honshu. Hiroshima was 45 miles away, so the duty over there was real good. You weren't really harassed. You had a job to do. Everybody did their job. You went on liberty most of the time, you know, and really had a good time.
What was your
Japan.
job to do?
Motor transport mechanic.
So you kept everything running, so to speak.
Well, I was stationed in what's called refuelers. Well, our trucks actually refueled the aircraft, and I was head mechanic for that particular department. And I had, one or two men under me, and it was my job to keep the trucks running.
And I gather you did.
Yeah.
So then, from there, where did you go?
And from there, when my tour was up, I came back and I was stationed at Beaufort, South Carolina. And by this time now I'm E4 corporal, so you're a non-commissioned officer. So then you're taken off of the mess duty and guard duty details and stuff like that. And I was just a mechanic down there again. There was quite a few mechanics in that particular outfit, but once you're E4, they never bothered you. It's just like going to work. It was a regular job.
Very good. And then you went to Vietnam.
Then my turn come up for a rotation. About in September, I rotated, what we call rotated. You go to California for so-called staging. Well, at the time, Vietnam was just starting to build up. And what they were doing was putting everybody through a guerrilla combat tactical course to prepare you for Vietnam, because they knew that it was a combat, caveman style war, because they used anything they could find as weapons. They'd go out in the woods and build punji pits, use bamboo rods and dig them and put them in holes and cover them. So if a convoy went over it, you'd fall in. If a troop went over and fell in, you'd go down and hit the punji sticks, and it's like a bunch of nails sticking up. You landed on them, and that's where you stayed. And that's one of the ways that they fought their war was, guerrilla warfare. That's what it was called, guerrilla warfare. And we left, I was in California about 6 months, and finally I did get to Vietnam. It was February 1st of '66, I actually hit Vietnam. And I was due to rotate February 2 of '67, and I broke my leg January 20th to come home. I was that close to coming home, and I fell down and broke my leg, and that's been it. And in Vietnam, I was motor transport sergeant again. I was in charge of the mechanics up on the hill, what we called up on the hill. We were 3 miles out of the base camp, and we were a missile battalion, and we had our own little motor transport outfit up there. I was in charge of that. So I pretty much went from boot camp to being in charge, and I stayed in charge right until the day they told me to go on home.
So you were discharged because you broke your leg. I mean, is that?
I was honorably
Triggered.
discharged because my tour was up.
Oh, you were done. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
My
Okay.
tour would have been over in August of '67, and I got out of the hospital in July of '67. And rather than send me to a duty station for 1 month,
Yeah.
I could have either re-enlisted or take a discharge, which I took the discharge.
And your leg healed fine?
Oh yeah, it's a little bit shorter than the other one, because when I march, I have to be on the right-hand side of the road because of the crown of the road. Honest, believe it or not, if I march on the left-hand side of the road, I'll bounce. I look like a little yo-yo going down the road. If I'm on the right side of the road, with this leg being shorter, I'm perfectly straight. And I learned that just through experience of marching.
Yeah. Well, that's smart.
Yeah. See, I can run around a hill this way, but I can't run around a hill that way.
Yeah. Well, that's quite a learning curve.
Yeah, it was.
Now, when you were in Vietnam, let's say, did you correspond? Were letters the main correspondence system with your family?
Yeah, we had no postage, so we could send letters and packages home at no cost to the serviceman. And I sent home, I said, "Mom, send me the telephone book." So I'd get all the addresses, and that's how I corresponded with a lot of friends when I was in Vietnam.
Yeah, That seemed to be the main way. But now in Vietnam, they weren't censored like they were World War II, were they?
Not that we knew of.
You know, all
They
kinds
might
of-
have been, but I doubt it, because most of the stuff we got, if it was just a personal letter, class 1 letter, they seemed to be sealed.
And your family knew where you were, because World War II, they kept,
They knew I was in Vietnam, but I don't know if they had a map out and exactly could pinpoint it on a map. They knew I was in denying Vietnam, and that was it. And it was pretty much the central part of, from north to south. Above us, we had we called the gooks, and below us, we had the gooks. To the right of us, we had the gooks, and to the left of us, we had the gooks. And we had a barber that used to come up on the hill, and he had a little, what we called the shoe shine boy. He used to take care of our laundry and shine our shoes and stuff like that. So finally, he doesn't show up on the hill no more, and he was a VC. He was a VC at night and Vietnamese by day. And he got caught. So, you know, they were enemy by night and friend by day. You didn't know who your enemy were over there.
I can believe that.
Yeah. That was one of the bad parts about it. A kid walk up and hand you a can of soda with a grenade in it. You know, they used to train the kids over there 4 or 5 years of age to be a soldier.
Yeah.
That was, you know, the real bad part about it.
Did any of your friends get hurt over there with any of these kinds of things?
When I was in the hospital with a broken leg, there was a ward maybe the size of this room, beds on both sides, and I'm laying there with a broken leg, and you know, everybody's saying, "Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Connecticut." "Where are you from?" "I'm asking, where are you from?" "Connecticut." "Where about?" "Burlington." "Who are you?" He told me who he was. Today and I, the kid, is still real good friends. I helped his father build his house down here on Rock Street, on the old Burlington Avenue.
Yeah.
Paul Scheidel. He had just gotten shot before that. He got shot. The bullet went in under the windpipe, under the collarbone, through his windpipe and came out. That's how close he'd come to getting killed. And when we were in the hospital together, I had a broken leg, so he'd push me around in the wheelchair.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Small world after all, huh?
And then Bucky Buxton today lives in Unionville. He came from Burlington. He and Paul, their families, and our families all grew up together. Bucky was in the infantry, and I was in town one day, and Bucky was in town. And we met, and he came up on the hill where I was, because we were kind of stationary, and had Christmas dinner with me. 'Cause we used to get, you know, good stuff for food. You know, we knew the Seabees, and they got the best, and we'd trade all the time. You know, they needed booze, we had booze, they had food. Well, you know, we'd shake a hand and keep going.
Sounds like the MASH unit.
Yeah, oh, yeah, well, we didn't do too bad.
Here's a silly question. Did you carry anything for good luck? Any,
Not that I can remember. We always had to carry our dog tag in case you got hit, something like that, but like carrying a rabbit's foot or something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know if I ever did. I did have my high school class ring with me, but I don't know if I actually wore it all the time. And when my stuff got packed up and sent home, that was one of the items that was missing. I know that. So,
that's, so you had plenty of supplies when you were over there. You were well taken care of on that level.
in that department, yeah. I think when I was in Japan there for a while, there was a rationing on meat. But they could get Spam.
Oh,
And we had Spam cooked about every possible way you could possibly get it. In fact, Spam actually came around in the Second World War for that reason, because they couldn't send fresh meat, and the only way they could get it to the guys was can it. And Spam, that's how Spam actually originated.
my father wouldn't look at Spam the whole rest of his life. He had so much
I
Spam.
still like it. I still like it. But we didn't get it shoved down our throats that bad. But I know when I was in Japan for a while, when they couldn't get fresh meat, we got Spam for a while. Kind of got tired of it after a couple of weeks, but you know, you get over it.
Yeah. Did you have pranks? Did you pull pranks on people, or did they pull pranks on you? Did you?
Well, that's constant all the time.
Well, that's what I wondered.
Yeah.
Have you got a story for me?
Not right offhand, but when I was with the missile battalion, the artillery battalions, we used to go out in the field. The older guys would tell the young guy, "Go give me a bucket of muzzle blast." But no such thing. because it's the blast of powder that comes out of the end of a muzzle of an 05 howitzer. They'll tell you to take a bucket and go get a bucket of muzzle blast. Just because, you know, the little kid didn't know better. And, you know, some sergeant hollering at him, go give me a bucket of muzzle blast, he's gonna do it. He goes tell the first sergeant, I need a bucket of muzzle blast. Well, go see this guy. Then they'd send him somewhere else, you know, and it was stuff like that all the time.
And did you fall for that?
Well, I was smart. I was a motor transport. I didn't really have to get up next to the guns.
No hot foots, no those kinds of things?
Probably too numerous to mention that I can't remember right now, but you know how it is.
What did you do for entertainment? When you were in Vietnam, did you ever get R&R or?
I went to Bangkok, Thailand for 5 days, October, November, just as a relief from the regular duties.
Yeah.
And I did send my mother home a set of china and a set of bronzeware that I don't think ever got used. And that was in 1966. Till now, it was what, 44 years, still sitting in a china closet.
That's where she wants it.
Well, yeah, she's gone now for 12 years, but it's still sitting there. Hasn't been used yet. Never used it. But other than that, in Vietnam, you could not be off base after sunset. And you had to be there any and all dark hours. You could not be out in town or
Yeah, well,
whatever. You know, we couldn't send a truck off the hill when it was dark
No.
because, you know, the gooks would come out of the woodwork and
How did they get the name Gook?
I don't know, it's just a slang term for just like gook the gook and link the chink. That's the enemy.
You just, but it becomes a universal
Yeah,
name.
it's just something that's carried on from service to service, you know, time period to time period, I guess.
Now, did you qualify for the GI Bill when you got out if you wanted to use it?
I did, yes, because I was a combat veteran. But stupid me, I, you know, just waited too long, and when I found out that I was no longer eligible, the time period already elapsed. But if I'd known about it, the GI Bill was available at the time.
Yeah.
But when I come back from Vietnam, it was, you know, such a bad experience that I don't think I drew a sober breath for 4 or 5 years. We didn't drink water because we couldn't get water over there. You either got soda or beer. So you stayed inebriated, you know, most of the time. The soda you got was warm. You ever tried drinking a can of warm soda?
Not too tasty.
Forget it, yeah. At least the beer we got was almost, you know, room temperature. The ice machine we had, we couldn't get good water. And when we did get ice from town, you didn't drink the bottom 1 inch of a glass because it was half sand. I don't know where they got the water to make the ice from, but it was
You
contaminated.
probably didn't want to know.
No, and then we just figured, well, the booze will kill the germs and keep going.
Now, where were you in Vietnam? What place?
It was right in the center, what's called the Marine Main Base, Da Nang.
Oh, in Da Nang.
That's
Oh,
what it was called, yeah.
Yeah.
The main base was right in Da Nang. And the main road was north and south, Route 1. It was right at the main gate. Darryl Baum, I think that's Darryl Baum or Darren Baum, his wife was Maria. They run Maria's Pizza and Bread.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have him on your list?
No.
He said that he could remember me going in and out of the main gate because he was an MP stationed at the main gate. And when he came here and they started, he's looking at me and I'm looking at him. He says, I know you. You know, where do you know me from? So we started going back, and once we hit Marine Corps, well, were you over in country? That's the way one guy would say to another one, Vietnam a lot of times. Were you over in country? We don't say Vietnam. He said, yeah, and where were you? He said, main base, where were you on? You know, and we started pinpointing right down. Come to find out, he stopped me at the main gate a few times, you know, and waved me on through. And here he is. He lives right here on Hill Street. Or he did live on Hill Street, and they run the bakery over there in the village.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, then they moved from there, just down on Route 44 a little further, and I don't know if they're still there or not, but, you know, they did make breads and pizza, and it was called Maria's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember Maria's Pizza.
Yeah.
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 That was good. I
Yeah.
remember Maria.
Yeah, that'd be another veteran for you to look up.
Good. We'll do that.
B-A-U-M, I guess it is.
And you, did you join, you joined some some military organizations after you got out, didn't you? You
Yeah,
kept that allegiance going.
the Allegiance,
Well,
the American Legion,
yeah,
Art Vincent, you must remember Art
yeah,
Vincent.
yeah.
Well, as soon as I got out, handed me the application, first time, I said, is this the outfit that parades? He said, oh yeah, we do parades. And then I never really got too active with it. And then I joined the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Right.
And that one there, my mother got into the auxiliary. And I was going through going through the chairs. And I got as high as district commander, which is a state level office. And other than that, to go higher than that, you have to go national level or state commander. That's just, out of the 4 steps, post, district, state, national, I made it to the top of the 2nd step. And then it was, just so much time and home commitment that you got to give up sooner or later, and that was it.
So did you have a girlfriend at the time you were over in Vietnam and all over the place? Or aren't you telling?
No self-committals. When I went into the service, yes, I had a girlfriend. She didn't want to wait, so she got married.
Oh darn.
So after my 7 years, I got out, and all my buddies were getting divorced first time around. First time around, you're married for looks and love. They were all getting divorced. They said, Joe, stay single, stay single. There's plenty of it around, you don't have to get married. I said, okay, all right. So here I am, next week, no, 2 weeks from now, I go on 70 years of age, and I got to keep on a pair of fast tennis shoes. I keep running all the time. So I haven't made that same mistake once yet.
I see. I like the story. Now, do you have any stories, just stories about what went on, bad or good? Describe an event that's memorable?
Vietnam was dull all the time. You just got up in the morning and you worked 12-hour days. And every 3rd day or every 4th day, we had sergeant of the guard, so you were up all night. So every 3 days, you got 2 nights of sleep. And Buford was a good duty station. That was nice. We were able to get up and go to work, get home at 4 o'clock, and you were off for the rest of the day, except when you had duty sections, because they had to keep so many people on base in case of a real quick recall. And then at Camp of June, when I come out of the mechanic schools, we were really treated with respect, because if you had any kind of rank and any kind of, I had a mechanical classification, the colonel even walked up to me by calling me by my first name, stuff like that. And then when I met my drill instructor in the office that day, that was kind of a highlight. Of course, every time you get promoted, you got to go out and celebrate a little bit. Ooh, those were some bad days.
And did you do your celebrating in Da Nang, or was there someplace else that you went?
No, all my promotions were in the United States. So it was
So you could
kind of
celebrate.
a happy reunion, a happy celebration, and forget the next couple of days, stuff like that. Then you get your head back on your shoulder and go back to work.
So when you got through and you were discharged, then what did you do?
Well, I came out and started working on construction, and laid off in the winter time, and finally I settled in with the schools. Ray Bergeron, his wife just passed away here last
I know.
week. He walked up to me one day and said, go on up to the school. They're looking for somebody to take over because, they had a little problem with a guy, and they want somebody to take over the head custodian. I said, I'll go up there and help him for a couple of weeks. That's fine. But 25 years later, I retired. And that's been, going on 8 years. Everybody says, what do you do all day long? I said, don't do nothing. I'm too busy goofing off. I'm retired now, retired or whatever you want to call it. And that's it.
Free to relax.
Free white and 21.
There you go.
If you believe that one, I got a bridge for sale. You pay me now and you go to Brooklyn and get it. And that's what I tell everybody. It's me and the dog.
You and the dog.
Me and the dog. She's home pouting.
That's because she misses you.
Oh, yeah. Come nighttime, starts getting dark about this time of the year, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Every time I take a step, I gotta be careful because she's right in front of me. She wants me to get in the house. She wants to go to bed. If I go to leave the house this time of the day, she's out the door in front of me. She'll go out, get under the truck and say, "Catch me, stupid. I can run faster than you can." Yeah, she calls me stupid, you know? So who gets up and goes to work? Who feeds the dog? Who has to go and do all the work? You know, what does the dog do all day long? Lay around and sleep, yeah, Bark at the neighbor when they come home. Chase the rabbit, chase the deer in the yard.
I've got one question for you. Now, you had all this automotive motor skill, motor repair and everything,
Don't tell anybody.
maintenance. Yeah, but you never used that except on your own vehicles. I mean, you didn't
When I
come
worked
home-
on construction,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
they knew I was a mechanic, so I ended up, when I worked for Mitchell out of Unionville,
Yeah.
tear the engines apart, tear the transmissions apart. The mechanical skills have been to my advantage all my life.
That's what I was thinking. They should
And
have been.
except for now, I got an '09 pickup truck. I even wonder how to pick up the hood. And if I do get the hood open, I wonder where the engine is because it's all electronic.
Yeah.
And when I worked at the school, they said to me, shut the computer off. I pulled the plug out of the wall. I couldn't find the off switch.
Yeah,
Either that or you hit the off switch and you erase somebody's program. Boy, did you catch hell the next day.
yeah.
Wow, they tell you to shut it off. I said, well, I shut it off. Yeah, I pulled the plug. Never asked me to do that no more.
I'm with you.
So
That's-
now I pull tractors, garden tractors and the big ones. We just had a pull last Saturday. And I play with antique outboard motors.
That sounds fun.
It's a real, it's nationwide, and we get together, dry meets, we actually take them out and run them, the old 1900, 1920 motors
Neat.
that smoke like hell, we just call it mosquito control, that's all.
And where do you use them? Where do you,
The outboard motors?
yeah. What part?
I've been everywhere from Pennsylvania to Maine, Canada, Wisconsin.
So you haul it all over the place?
Yeah,
Great.
when I was really into it, I did make Florida, Wisconsin, Canada, local, New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts.
And you're the guy that knew how to keep them running?
Well, we don't tell anybody else that we know what we're doing.
I see.
That's so nobody else will really get in on you. Just like pulling tractors, guys, I got one guy, he can't beat me. He keeps needling me for information. I'm the dumbest guy there is out there when it's on a tractor. And I beat him again Saturday.
You would have made a good horse trader.
Oh yeah, we do a lot of that too. But
Anything-
after 200 ribbons, first place is, just another blue ribbon. It's no more thrill of winning first place anymore.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I guess we covered pretty much 50 years.
Isn't that amazing? Well, we thank you
50
very
years
much.
in 1 hour, let's see, it's an hour, a year a minute? Not
Here a
bad.
minute. That's not bad.
No. Thank you for the interview.
Well, thank you for
If they,
coming.
if they blackball me, just send me a few stimulus checks. That probably wouldn't hurt none.
Oh, we'll see you in the parade, Memorial Day.
If I'm still alive, I should be there.
You'll be there.
And I still parade in the same shirt that I got discharged in.
Very good. I'll be there to cheer you on.
A lot of other guys, a lot younger than me, they gotta go see Omar the tent maker to get a shirt made. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
No offense, but they're a hell of a lot bigger than you are in the stomach. Marcy, thank you.
Well, thank you.
We off the camera now?
Yeah, he's got to be done.